In the vast deserts of the American Southwest, beneath the endless blue sky, there lives a story that still echoes through time. It is a story of strength, endurance, and survival. This is the story of the Diné, known to the world as the Navajo. And this is the story of the Long Walk of 1864. For centuries, the Navajo people lived among the canyons, mesas, and valleys of their homeland, a region that stretches across what is now Arizona and New Mexico. Their life was deeply connected to the land. They raised sheep, farmed the soil, and followed traditions passed down through generations. The red earth, the mountains, and the stars above were not just their surroundings, they were part of who they were. But the mid-1800s brought a storm of change. As the United States expanded westward, more settlers entered Navajo territory, leading to growing tensions and conflicts. Raids, retaliations, and misunderstandings fueled mistrust between the Navajo people and the U.S. government. In 1863, General James Henry Carleton, commanding military forces in the New Mexico territory, decided to remove the Navajo from their homeland. His goal was to relocate them to a reservation hundreds of miles away, a place called Bosque Redondo, near Fort Sumner. To carry out this plan, he ordered the well-known frontiersman Kit Carson to lead the campaign. Carson's forces began destroying Navajo fields, burning homes, and seizing livestock to cut off their food supply. This strategy forced many Navajo to surrender. By early 1864, thousands of Navajo men, women, and children were captured or rounded up and ordered to move to Bosque Redondo. The journey that followed would become one of the darkest chapters in Native American history. It came to be known as the Long Walk. From their homeland near Canyon de Chelly, more than 8,000 Navajo people began the forced relocation. They were made to walk nearly 300 miles across deserts, rivers, and frozen plains. Many carried infants, others supported the elderly. Food was scarce, the cold was bitter, and the path seemed endless. The long walk took weeks to complete. Some who began the journey did not see its end. Yet, through exhaustion and hardship, the Navajo people pressed forward. Every step was an act of endurance, a quiet statement of survival. When they finally reached Bosque Redondo, they were met with disappointment and despair. The land there was dry and not suited for farming. The Pecos River water was brackish, unfit for drinking or growing crops. Supplies were limited, and the promised safe settlement turned into a struggle to live each day. The Navajo tried to rebuild a sense of community. They constructed small shelters, planted whatever seeds they could, and continued their traditions in secret. Their songs and prayers became their source of hope. Even in the hardest moments, they held on to their identity. At Bosque Redondo, life was harsh. Many fell ill and hunger was constant. Yet despite the suffering, the Navajo people did not lose their unity. Their leaders met, prayed, and dreamed of returning home. By 1868, even government officials realized that the reservation experiment had failed. The land could not sustain life. The Navajos' resilience, their will to survive, and their unbreakable spirit made it clear that they could not simply be erased from their homeland-y story. That year, representatives of the Navajo Nation met with U.S. government leaders to sign a treaty. The Treaty of 1868 allowed the Navajo people to return to a portion of their original land. It also promised them supplies, livestock, and seeds to begin rebuilding their lives. When the treaty was signed, relief swept through the camp at Bosque Redondo. For the first time in 4 years, the Navajo could walk again, but this time the journey was one of return, not exile. As they made their way back to the familiar lands of the Southwest, emotions ran deep. They walked past the same deserts and mountains that had once witnessed their sorrow. Each step home carried the memory of those who had been lost along the way. When they reached their homeland, the Navajo began to rebuild. They restored their flocks, replanted their fields, and revived their traditions. They taught their children about the long walk, so that no one would ever forget the strength it took to survive it. The Long Walk of the Navajo is more than an event in history. It is a symbol of endurance, faith, and resilience. It is a reminder that even in the face of great loss, the human spirit can endure and find its way home. Today, the Navajo Nation stands as the largest Native American territory in the United States, covering more than 27,000 square miles across Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. The memory of the Long Walk remains alive, in stories, in ceremonies, and in the hearts of the people. Each year, Navajo families and community members retrace parts of the route their ancestors once walked. They do this to honor their history, to remember their pain, and to celebrate their survival. When you stand today in Canyon de Chelly, where the red cliffs rise high against the desert sky, you can still feel the presence of the ancestors. The wind whispers through the rocks, as if carrying their voices, a reminder that the past is never truly gone. The Long Walk was not only a journey of sorrow, but also one of strength. It showed that even when a people are taken from their home, their spirit cannot be taken from them. Their songs, their language, their prayers, these endured, and in their endurance, the Navajo found victory, not through war but through survival. The story of the Long Walk continues to teach generations about the importance of land, identity, and resilience. It reminds us that every culture has the right to exist, to thrive, and to live freely on its own soil. As we remember this chapter of American history, we must see it not only as a tragedy, but as a testament to human courage. The Long Walk of the Navajo was not the end of a people, it was the beginning of their return. And so, beneath the wide sky of the Southwest, where the mountains still watch over the desert, the story of the Diné lives on, a story of endurance, a story of homecoming, a story that will never fade.